What's going on, everyone? This is Dom, and today we're comparing the iPhone 7 to the iPhone 6s to find out if Apple's latest and greatest is worth the money. Starting out with specifications, both the iPhone 7 and 6s pack a 4.7-inch display with a resolution of 750 by 1334, though the iPhone 7 does have a better range of colors, but both displays look great here. They both also feature Apple's 3D Touch, which will allow for some neat shortcuts in iOS, but nothing that I've ever felt the need to use on a regular basis. Inside of the iPhone 7, there's Apple's A10 Fusion chip, 2GB of RAM, either 32, 128, or 256GB of storage, and a 1960 mAh battery, which is said to get an extra 2 hours of usage over its predecessor. With the iPhone 6s, you'll find Apple's A9 processor, 2GB of RAM, a base storage of 16GB, and a 1715 mAh battery. In terms of design, not a lot has changed this year. Comparing the two side by side, the only main difference on the backside is the removal of the antenna bands, which cleans up things a bit, and a larger camera bump. That is until you inspect the bottom of the device. Yep, Apple removed the headphone jack, and like it or not, we'll have to learn to adapt. The good news is the iPhone 7 brings along Apple's version of front-facing speakers. Well, kind of. I mean, there's a speaker on the bottom of the device and one hidden behind the earpiece. They're not exactly front-facing, but at twice the volume, they do a good job. We also have the introduction of two new colors this year. There's Jet Black, which is a fingerprint and scratch magnet, and there's also Black, which is pretty stealthy. This year, Apple decided to ditch using a physical home button, but instead we have a capacitive solid-state surface that uses Apple's Taptic engine to provide a clicking sensation, like the 12-inch MacBook's trackpad. It's not quite the same as a physical button on the 6s, but nothing you can't get used to, nor does it change how fast the fingerprint sensors between the two perform. Quite possibly the biggest difference with design this year is the IP67 dust and water resistance certification that the iPhone 7 carries, so no more accidental drops in the toilet without ruining your phone. In regards to performance, both of these devices will serve you well. Of course, the iPhone 7 is going to be faster out of the bunch, but I've had no issues with the 6s over the last year either. iOS 10 brings a ton of cool features to the mix, and that might save you some money in your decision to upgrade. So if you're curious about some of the new features iOS 10 has to offer, I will leave a video linked below for you, but either way, don't let software be the reason you upgrade. When it comes to camera performance, Apple didn't change much on paper with the 7. Both the iPhone 6s and 7 feature 12 megapixel shooters on the backside, but the iPhone 7 sports an f1.8 aperture, which is a step over the f2.2 aperture on the 6s and definitely a better low light performer. The iPhone 7 also packs optical image stabilization for smoother video and better photography, and there's a better flash on the backside of the 7. And while both cameras will take amazing photos, it may just be an average step up for everyday people. Since this is such a close call, I'll let you be the judge. I'll leave comparison galleries linked below, and why don't you let me know whether the camera is worth the upgrade in the comments section. I'm personally a fan of having optical image stabilization though, and it's something that the iPhone 6s should have shipped with initially. If you really want to step up the camera action, it might be beneficial to go with the iPhone 7 Plus and its dual rear cameras. And if you'd like to know more about that, I will leave some videos linked in the description. Also, if you're into it, the iPhone 7 packs a 7 megapixel front-facing camera, which is a step above the 5 megapixel shooter on the 6s, and definitely a win for all you selfie takers out there. So the big question here is, should you upgrade? Well, that's a tough decision. I think if you're coming from an iPhone 6, the clear answer is yes. Now with the iPhone 6s, the gap is closer than ever, and it may not be worth it unless you have the extra funds or an upgrade laying around. There are a lot of similarities between these two, and it's hard to recommend something new when something a bit older is now also cheaper. If you're new to iPhone, I definitely recommend getting the best that Apple has to offer, but they're both great devices. But let me know what you think about the iPhone 7 and 6s in the comments below, and leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe for my full review of the iPhone 7 dropping in the near future. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. This is Dom, and I'll catch you in the next video.